I'm excited. We are on episode 8 of season 2. I can't believe that we're moving right along. Like I always remind you, if you have not listened to some of the other recordings, you definitely should, because we had some great people on there that teach you how to make your brand more visible, that teach you your marketing and branding style and tips. We've talked to authors. We talked to a whole bunch of people that I know would be great to help you build your business and your brand. I always try to leave you with tips on things that you can do in order to be more visible on social media, in order to get more clients. So definitely dive into some of those other episodes that we have. But today, I'm super excited to be talking to Clinton Young. Clinton and I met probably only few weeks ago, maybe 2 months ago. And him and I have kind of had a couple meetings together. He's helping me out as well as helping him. You know, all of us in the entrepreneur world need to share our gifts. And that's kind of what Clinton and I have been doing. He is a world-class speaker, and I'm going to have him introduce himself and tell you all a little bit about all the fabulous stuff that he is doing. So Clinton, welcome, and thank you for being on the Socialpreneur podcast.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, Allie. And you are definitely a mentor to me. So in the social
Vice
media
versa.
space,
Ditto.
I'm really excited to be here with all of your people and your friends and your family that follow you. I am, and of course, all of your followers. Sounds like friends and family. No, you know what I'm saying. They all become your family. Anyways, I am an international keynote speaker and I'm a coach for aspiring world-class speakers. And we will touch on what that means in a moment. And all of your listeners and your viewers will really get that I don't necessarily mean that you want to become the next Les Brown or, insert famous speaker here. I don't mean that. I just mean, how can you utilize speaking, the number one way to grow your business, to grow your influence, to grow your impact, and to grow your income. That's what I mean by aspiring world-class speakers. Really, it's entrepreneurs who speak. So that's what I do. But one of the things that that I'm super passionate about, besides empowering and enabling the courage and confidence for others to really live their dream life now, I'm doing that in my own life as well. And I'm breaking through my limiting beliefs and the fears, the same stuff I talk about when I'm on stage and when I coach people. I'm doing that in my own life. As you know, I'm embarking on a journey, an RV journey with my wife starting in July. We're literally renting out the house and we are just going literally for like 12 months at least, all around the US. And we're going to be playing my new favorite sport called pickleball, which, by the way, it's so amazing. I know I geek out on this every time I talk to you. It is the fastest growing sport on the planet. And I love some of the qualities of it because it's super social. It's an amazing way to build your network and get exercise and not even feel like you're exercising. And it actually builds self-esteem. It builds confidence. Literally, psychologists have written about this because of its ease of play and the need to have a little bit of strategy, but yet it's super, super easy. By the way, if you need a visual, it's like ping pong and tennis had a baby, and it's a really cool baby, okay? And it is so, so fun to play, super, super social, like I said. So anyways, that is what I'm doing in my life, breaking through my barriers, my limiting beliefs to say that, you know what, I don't need to be stationary. I can speak and coach and train all around the world and all around the US. So that's kind of me in a nutshell, what's cooking in my world right now.
Clinton is awesome. He's got me interested in pickleball. I have not played yet, but it's starting to get warm outside, and I feel the need that I need to at least try it once. So I might have him when he goes on his tour, if he's coming close to Louisville, Kentucky. I might be like, you're gonna have to stop at least for a day and let's have some kind of pickleball. My husband is very, very he's active, and he'd probably get right into it.
Oh my goodness, yes.
So I think that would be awesome. You all wait and see that. We might have to record a little bit of that or put it on social media. So you have to watch out for that. So Clinton, I know that you are a world-class speaker and you enjoy what you do. How did you get your start in doing this?
Okay, so great question. I mean, I'd always been somebody who gravitated towards the opportunities to not necessarily hold the microphone, but to be out in front, right? I know that a lot of your listeners are probably also aware, self-aware, and they're into growing themselves personally. And one of the ways that I grow myself personally is I'm always looking at what, and this kind of sounds like from a selfish standpoint, but I feel like we all deserve to be a little selfish in this respect. It's like, what makes me feel good? When I do it, what makes me feel good? And ultimately, when you find that about yourself, you find what I like to call your flow, right? It's your path of least resistance. And we can think about this as entrepreneurs as well. When we look at all the things that need to get done, I always recommend to look for the things in your business that actually give you life, that give you energy. This is your flow. These are the things that you can do them all day long and time flies by, and you actually add the most value to your enterprise, to your company, and to your clients when you're in your flow. And then you can find amazing people like Lainey on your team, for example, or other people that are on your team that they're in their flow doing things that maybe aren't the things that give you life and give you joy. And you can do them, but they don't bring you joy. Let other people who it's their flow to do those, let them do that. Outsource those things or build your team to take care of those things. And one of those things that I love is to be out in front of people. So to make a short answer long, I wanted to give you a little bit of context of how I've gravitated towards different roles in my career. When I worked in corporate, I'd always tended to be the leader, the person that had to kind of stand up and talk to the team, if you will. And then as I've grown my own businesses, I've also gravitated towards those types of roles, whether it be leading my sales team or going out and speaking to share my message and share my business. And it sort of has evolved over the years. In the last 4 years, I've become a professional keynote speaker, where companies literally hire me to come in and inspire their teams or to teach or train or educate. So that's kind of a vanilla answer of how I got into speaking. It took a lot more. There's obviously a lot of steps that I took, but I find, and I want to champion this idea to your listeners, that the number one way to grow your business, in my experience, is through relationships. Right now, that can mean a lot of things. We can build relationships on social media. We can build relationships face to face in networking events. But ultimately, relationships, I find, and also how you're seen in the marketplace, right? Social media, and then also on stages, for example. I find that is the number one way to really grow and expand, is to become known in the marketplace and to build relationships. Well, Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people on the planet, he says that becoming a speaker, and again, I don't mean speaking becomes your number one thing, but becoming someone who can speak effectively and powerfully and inspire action. Warren Buffett says it's the number one skill to learn right now to grow your business and to grow yourself. The number one, hands down, far and above any other skill, the number one. And he says it will grow your business by over 50%, or your career if you don't yet have a business. It'll grow your value by over 50% by just becoming a powerful speaker. So if it's good enough for Warren, it's good enough for me.
Gems right there. Some gems. If you take note. Take note. So if someone is saying to themselves, I might not want to be a keynote speaker, but I want to become a more effective speaker, what can they do in order to do this?
Okay, awesome question. So this is primarily who I work with, to be honest with you. A lot of people don't want to be keynote speakers. It's hard, right? You get paid really well. It's nice to get paid $10,000 for 45 minutes. Right? That's a great return on investment of your time. But there's a lot of work that goes into that, and it's a little bit of stress. Some people thrive on that. I kind of geek out on it from time to time, but most of the people that I work with are actually entrepreneurs that want to grow their business, or they want to grow their message. I tend to attract a lot of people that are very purpose driven, right? So they have a message and they want to make an impact. Yeah, they want to create more income as well, but they really want to make an impact. So for those of you who are listening, that is you, and you want to grow your impact, like, how do you do it? What do you do? Well, the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a depth in our awareness. We need to deepen our awareness. So if anyone's taking notes, sometimes I take notes when I listen to podcasts, not always, because sometimes I'm on the fly, but take a mental note at the very least. You want to find ways to deepen your awareness. And I want to give you an example. If you think about an Olympic athlete, let's just say Michael Phelps. He is a swimmer, obviously in the US. If you don't know, maybe it's not so obvious, but the most decorated Olympian of all time. The dude is like a god in the water. Okay. He's got like 28 medals, 23 of them are gold medals. It's kind of ridiculous. And if you were to look at him, and then you were to look at, let's say he had a twin brother, which I don't think he does, but let's say he does, and he is exact same genetic, everything's exactly the same. The only difference that would separate Michael Phelps and his twin brother and the success that Michael Phelps has had in the water and in the Olympics is his level of awareness. Okay. So if you're to look at the base unit of measure of anything that you want to get really great at, anything that you're passionate about growing in, or you want to have success in, it really comes down to a base unit of measure of a difference in awareness. Michael Phelps just has a deeper level of awareness of water itself, of his body, of what it means to train, right? Exercise, swimming, obviously, all the mechanics. He just has a deepened level of awareness. Okay. So that's really good news for anyone that wants to get great at anything, because we can learn anything. We can learn social media. We can learn speaking. We can learn how to run a business. We can learn how to enroll new clients. We can grow. All we need to do is focus on that basic unit of measure called awareness. Now, how do we accelerate our awareness? Because we want to do this now. We don't want to take 10 years to become a speaker who wants to grow their business through speaking, using the number one way to grow your business, right? Think about networking. A lot of people say networking is the number one way to grow your business. And some people do it online with social media. Some people do it live in person. 100% true. But when you become a speaker or an entrepreneur who speaks, it's like using that number one way to grow your business, but using it with a megaphone. Right? So it just amplifies what you're already doing. It amplifies your ability to grow yourself and to grow your business. So how do we accelerate our pathway? How do we accelerate ourselves on this pathway to becoming what I like to call world class? And I do want to put a little bit more definition around this world class, if that's okay, because I don't want to scare anyone off when I say world class. What I mean by becoming a world-class speaker, again, is not becoming the next Tony Robbins and traveling all around the world. You might not ever even want to get paid for a quote unquote keynote speech. That's fine. But what I mean by world-class at a deeper level is, how do we learn how to drop away from our head, out of our head? Because is it true? Anyone out there, I'm sure, probably has gotten in their head. They're getting ready to stand up and even talk for 30 seconds at a networking event or on a Zoom call. And all of a sudden they get nervous. They get that tingly feeling in their body. Has this ever happened to you? And all of a sudden you're up in your head thinking, oh, what am I going to say? Am I going to remember what I wanted to say? Is my fly up? Oh my goodness. Right. We're all in our head, right? We're all right. That happens to everybody. Right. So how do we drop from our head into our heart and into our bodies and really be connected to whatever our source is, our universal intelligence? We already know what there is to say. When we're in our heart, it comes out naturally. That's why when we're with our friends and we feel comfortable, a lot of times we're way more funny because we're in the moment, we're present. And when we get in front of a crowd, whoop, we go right up to our head and we're like, oh, what was I going to say? It's all choppy. It's robotic, right? So becoming world-class is learning, Allie, how to go from our head to our heart, right? How to really speak from the heart authentically, vulnerably, right? And how do we speak to what I like to call the collective pain in the room, right? You and I have talked about this before, your speaking engagements, right? So how do we speak to the heart and soul of the audience? That's what I mean. When I say collective pain in the room, we're not trying to manipulate the room and talk about pain. No, but you have to understand your audience. You have to understand, as a businesswoman or businessman, if you're a man listening to this, you have to understand your client. You have to understand what keeps them up at night. What is the problem that you solve for them? And how can you articulate that in such a way that they know within 30 seconds, wow, Allie's really here. She cares and she's here to solve my pain. And she has the expertise to solve the specific pain that I didn't even know that I had. Right.
Right.
So that's what I mean by becoming world class. We speak through that. There's this unconscious barrier that's in all of our unconscious minds that blocks us from being connected to our audience, whether that's over a video, whether that's live and in person, whether that's one-on-one. It is a barrier that we need to learn how to identify, and we need to learn how to dissolve that barrier. So that's what I mean by world class. You look like you want to say something about
Yes. So I was going to ask about the pain. You and I have talked
this.
about the pain. So I just want for people that are listening, what is a effective way to figure out the pain of your audience?
Great question. So it depends on what stage of business you're in. And we will circle back to that question of how to accelerate your awareness. I got to write that down because I deviated there to go into what is world class. And I'm glad that I did. Okay. So how do we understand the pain of our audience? That's what you're asking, right? Or our clients or our prospective clients. So if you're already in business and you have, let's say 10 plus clients, or you've had 10 plus clients, you can just literally think through, all right, why did everybody say yes to me? Go back to your conversations of literally when you sign them up to work with you, whether you're a coach or whether they bought one of your products or services. Think back to what was the conversation that you had that had them say yes. So that's one simple way of doing it. It's not super scientific, but it is a way of doing it. And we can start to then ask prospective clients that we're now taking through our process, what had you be attracted to work with me? And of course, you want to ask them, what is, coaching 101, if you are a coach out there, or if you have if you're a consultant and you have a service that you're providing, the coaching 101 model is, where are you right now? Right? Where are you right now? Where do you want to go? What's your vision for the future?
Exactly.
Then what is the block that's stopping you right now? What's in between where you are now and where you want to go? And that block, those blocks that are in between where they are now, where they want to go, that's their pain. Right. So that's another thing you can do. Just use a simple coaching model. Even if you're not a coach, you can use that model to discover what is the block that's in between where they are now and where they want to go. And then another real simple way, the way that I actually got started, is I did what's called a beta program. Okay. Again, now I fit into more of the coach mentor model. So if you're not a coach, you could still do something like this, where I literally promoted a 10-person invitation only, very exclusive opportunity to work directly with me. And I let everybody know it was a beta. So there's going to be some things that are going to get figured out as we go, but I'm going to offer so much value, and eventually I'll charge $10,000 for this, and you're getting it for free, right? You could either do it for free or a very nominal amount. And literally throughout the entire process, I was asking them questions, and I was literally surveying them. I was giving them questions and surveys, and I was collecting data. And in the beginning, you have to have an assumption, right? You have to make what's called a business assumption. Let's say I'm a business coach, and I coach female entrepreneurs. And my assumption is that there are female entrepreneurs out there that want to grow their business, and they see people having success on social media, but they can't quite figure out how to do it. They don't know where to start, or maybe they got started and they don't know what to post or when to post. So we have to make some assumptions based on what we know, what we think we know, and what we already know. And then we go out and we just test those assumptions. And the examples I just gave you are just ways that you can test the assumptions in a more scientific way and get actual data and answers to your questions. Okay, wow, I was right. They really do have a quote unquote pain called they're nervous to get on camera, or they don't know what to say. That's one of their pains. So we just start to make assumptions and start to ask the marketplace in various ways, like I just illustrated. And then we start to further define the pain of our audience. Did that make sense? Did I answer your question? Or do you have any
Yes,
follow-up?
it did. And I think that people, as they listen to this, and just people in general, sometimes they forget, they're so busy trying to sell, 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 they forget
Yeah.
their mission of what they want to do. So it's always good to like double back and rehear the reason why you're doing certain things is for someone else, and you're giving them something to help with their pain. There's a benefit in this.
Yeah.
So I feel like with me, the pain of a lot of my clients have been not being visible on social media,
Mm.
not being able to convert their followers into clients. So that's, you have to really think about what the pain of the other people is in order for you to actually build your business.
Yes.
Sometimes people build their business before and then they have to double back and change it around because they have not got to the root of the pain. So,
1000%. And when I generally work with people, I will literally ask them the question, why do you feel called to speak?
mhm,
And what somebody else could ask, if their business is a little different, why do you feel called to sell handbags to women? Why do you feel called? Maybe it's not like a juicy, ushy gushy, purpose filled mission, or it doesn't have to be, but why do you feel called? Like there was something about your past or your present or your vision for your future that calls you to do that, right?
mhm,
I like to call it peeling the onion back. When I really discover, or when my clients discover why they feel called to speak, it totally feeds into the next question. Who do you feel called to serve?
mhm,
Like, who do you feel really inspired? What I mean by called is just inspired. Like, what inspires you about that product or that service? What inspires you maybe about your past that has you in a position where that's something that lights you up? Like, I don't know if we'll get to the story of how I really felt called to serve entrepreneurs to share their message. But if I did, you would see there's a calling. There was like something that happened in my life that had now I'm leaving us on a cliffhanger. I feel like I have to tell that
we're gonna
story.
have to have part two.
Okay, I might have to have part two. So yeah, I mean, ultimately, there's something that calls you to do what it is, and the more you understand that, and the more you understand who you feel called to serve, now you can dissect what is the problem that they have. Man, then it becomes so much easier to position yourself as an expert to attract those exact people that have that problem, and they're going to see your solution and be like, wow, this is what you want. That you want to write this down. This is what you want them to say when they hear you speak. Wow, you were made for me. You were made for me. That's when you
Mm,
have boom. That's when you have positioning. That's when you have power in the marketplace. That's when you have attraction. So yeah, I know our time is running short. So,
coming I it's funny that you say that because I know I've been sitting in wherever, whether it be church, whether it be in a conference, and I'm just like, they're talking to me. Yeah, it's
yes.
like that one thing. So you want people to get and remember at least, I know you've told me this, that one thing that resonates with them that they want to come back to you and want to know more. So Clinton, what can we leave everybody with a tip or something that they can use to amplify their speaking or amplify their networking that they can take with them?
Okay, so there's so much I want to share. We may definitely have to do a part two at some
We'll
point.
do a part two.
And I'll definitely give everyone an opportunity to reach out to me in a moment. We'll give you all those details, and I'm sure
Mhm,
they'll be in the show notes too. But I would say let's go back to really accelerating your awareness, and I'll tie in a tip that you can utilize as well. If you haven't already bought into the idea that becoming an effective speaker is the number one way that you can grow your presence, right? In combination with social media, right?
mhm,
Then you might want to rewind and listen again, because that is absolutely the way to go, in my opinion. And I believe that the way to accelerate your pathway is three things. You've got to get the repetitions, right? You've got to go out and actually speak, right? Go out and speak. Find free places. Don't worry about getting paid, right? Don't worry about getting paid. Just go find opportunities to speak. A super easy way to find opportunities to speak is to join Toastmasters. If you don't know what that is, it's an international organization where literally people are going there to learn how to become more effective speakers. Now, are you going
mhm,
to become world class by just going to Toastmasters? No, you probably need a coach, somebody that's actually a world class speaker to help you. But treat Toastmasters like your gymnasium. You can do these online during COVID. They're doing Toastmasters all around the world online. and it'll give you a gymnasium or a place to get the repetitions. To become world-class as an athlete or at anything in your business, you've got to get the reps, right?
Right.
So that's number one, and that will accelerate your awareness. Number two is, this feeds into social media perfectly. Every single time you speak, video record.
Yes.
Do you know that right now, I'm going to take a wave at the screen, Allie. Wave at the screen. All right, I just took a picture. Record pictures, record audio, record video. Normally I'll have my actual tripod, literally when I'm doing a Zoom call right here, and it's recording me with my lights in the background. And now I have content that I can do what with, Allie?
That you can go back and look at to see what you're saying, to use it to send to other people to get more speaking
Yes.
engagements.
Yes. And what else can we do from a social media perspective? We can utilize it to position ourselves as an expert in the marketplace.
Right.
You would be shocked by how much credibility is perceived when all you show is a picture of you speaking on a Zoom call with other people, even if you're not leading the Zoom call. Hey, I got a chance to speak today on Allie Lewis's awesome group, whatever, if you have a group or whatever, or Facebook group.
Right.
And all of a sudden you post that. And now, boom, you are starting to create what I like to call omnipresence in your potential clients' eyes and minds, that, wow, they start to see you everywhere. So that's one benefit of videotaping every single time you speak, or creating an audio or whatever, because you can utilize it for marketing and positioning, but also what you said, the number one thing to accelerate your awareness, you actually watch it back. You watch the game tape. You don't ever see a professional athlete not watching the game tape. And number three, because I know we're running out of time, you've got to hire a coach. You've got to hire a mentor.
Right.
Somebody that's actually doing it. Someone like Allie. You don't hire somebody that knows about social media. You hire somebody that has like 80, 90, 100,000 followers, whatever you're up to these days. And somebody that's actually doing it, because they've been there, done that. They're doing it right now. They're not just somebody that knows the topic. So just like me, you got to hire somebody that's out there speaking, not just somebody that's really good at coaching entrepreneurs how to speak, but somebody who's actually a speaker themselves. So accelerate your awareness and use that content for your social media and all the things you're learning from Allie to create what I like to call omnipresence out there in the marketplace. Then you'll get opportunities attracted back to you, like, wow, I saw you speaking all over the place. I'd love for you to come speak at my group. Okay, great. There you go.
Awesome. So if you didn't take anything but those 3 steps away from this, then those were golden. Clinton, thank you so much. Where can people find you? And we will do part 2. So stay tuned.
Okay.
But where can people find you?
Wonderful. So there's 2 places where you can find me. First of all, like any social media, find me on Instagram specifically if you want to follow my Club Freedom Live RV journey across the US and Canada and get inspired to what that would look like to live and work all around the world. I'm actually doing amazing interviews with freedom lifestyle entrepreneurs. I just dropped one recently, right around the dropping of this, when this comes out, with a gentleman that's he's in Mexico now, but he was in Bali when I was doing the interview, with his family, living all around the world and traveling and working, thriving business. Anyways, follow me at Club Freedom Live there. And I have a Club Freedom Live Facebook page and a group where I do more intimate interviews there. So definitely follow me there. But for just my normal channels, clintonyoung.com is a great way, especially if you want me to come and speak to your group. I would be absolutely honored and thrilled to earn your referral if you see that I could add value to your group. And I would even potentially consider some free speaking opportunities if the opportunity is right. And then also, if you are an entrepreneur and you have a message and you have a business and a vision and you want to grow it and you see speaking as a way to do that, I have my top 7 world-class speaker principles that you can utilize to literally crush your keynote, your sales presentation, your 3-minute video on YouTube, or your TED Talk. Whatever level speaker you are, these 7 world-class speaker principles will rock your world. I literally invested thousands of dollars to attain just a few of these from some of my mentors, some of the best speakers on the planet. And I've distilled down from my hundreds and thousands of hours of speaking on stages all around the world into the top 7 principles that you can utilize to grow your business and grow your impact, your income, and your influence from stages. And you can get all of those for free at worldclassspeakersecrets.com. That'll probably be in the show notes. Again, it's worldclassspeakersecrets.com.
Amazing. Everything that Clinton said to find him will be in the show notes. So definitely go give him a follow, go give him a like, go to his website, get those speaker secrets. Tell him that I sent you there because I want him to know that I did. Stay tuned for part 2 of this because we will have Clinton back because he has so much info and so many things that I know that you all want to hear. Thank you all for listening. Make sure that you like and subscribe and share this with a friend. And if you have anybody that you think would be amazing on the Socialpreneur podcast, please send them my way. So we will see you next time. And thank you for listening. Bye.
Thank you, Ellie.